Thank you for joining me. This is my thoughts on Alien Earth Season 1, Episode 7, Emergence. There will be spoilers for not just the episode, but everything live action, potentially, everything live action Alien franchise, including AVP, up to and including the episode. And the episode is rated TVMA, so will this video be? Holy fucking shit, I can hardly wait. I'm glad it's only a week to see before we get the finale. God damn, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I continue to absolutely love the shit out of this show. Okay, I did want to be, yeah, before, god damn. Okay. Before I get into it, I did want to briefly plug, shit. Let's see. I think his channel is called something like Damien Walter, Science Fiction with Damien Walter, maybe. He did a video on this show. I believe it's called The Alien Franchise Has Finally Died. It was absolutely amazing. I've only recently started watching him, but so far everything I've seen from him has been just phenomenal. I think right, and I did also want to plug some more news video on, I think it is called The Dangers of Toxic Nostalgia. It was absolutely excellent. Yes, so we are going to get into a scene-by-scene discussion. But first, it's a terrible way to walk around unless you do have eyes in the back of your head. However, we are going to start with overarching sort of shit. So I think this is a really solid lead-in to the finale. Okay, we have a Xeno that listens to Marcy out in, hiding, following. We have Cavalier having, he's seeing pictures in his head. Let's see, almost everyone has been captured. And I think that pretty well covers, but yeah, I'm genuinely not sure, including the chest burster was caught. Yeah, the Xeno is still on loose. I think it might continue to pose a problem. I think Marcy is going to maybe surrender or be captured. Right. Also, the Nibs found Joe's last little move there towards her to be shocking. We don't actually know if they can come back from that, do we? Because, like, electricity, robot, like, that might have genuinely killed her, which is also a really interesting place to have, like, so Marcy is now emotionally devastated. Like, she feels betrayed by Joe. She says, "What did you do?" She doesn't scream, "I think that was a slight exaggeration of what we needed to do, but I can kind of understand where you're coming from." So yeah, a new twist on their dynamic. Appreciate that. Yeah, I think that might be it for the lead-in. Yeah, I really appreciated the way that they're further exploring, Nib's condition. She even verbalizes some of it herself. Let's see. I thought the whole thing with Arthur, goddamn, so fucking heartbreaking, and then for him, chest breaking. Yeah, I feel like there's at least one more thing. For more with the with Eileen, which is what I have nicknamed the Alien. Yeah, I think I did quite appreciate. So recently, fairly recently, Dan Olsen did a video on a Call of Duty game. I think it was called Ghosts. Apparently, it's absolutely terrible. It was very enjoyable watching his video on it. He said that the villain in that was like Bane, in that, knowing every move that the hero is going to make and being 2 steps ahead. And that was kind of what it felt like watching Kirsch in this episode. But I mean, okay, if he's been listening, because he said that apparently he has been listening. Um, yeah, I get why he would be able to set traps and such. Uh yeah, he was very interesting in this episode, Kirsch. The whole thing of like, because like there was a while where I was like, I mean, I guess maybe he doesn't feel any allegiance to Prodigy. Maybe he's like, well, you Johnny deserve a win. But then by the end, no, that was just he figured that was the way. Yeah, it was bait, you know. Yeah, fantastic. I think that might. Yeah, I think that. Okay, let's do some scene by scene. So the shit. What was the first fucking scene? I don't remember. Yeah. I oh, right. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. Slightly having gotten Arthur back to his room, which is also just, yeah. Okay, so uh, in earlier videos, I have talked about how some of the, I guess all of the hybrids are coded as autistic and or children. So if I say the word coded in any part of this video, that's what I mean. Yeah, very, very coded. He's like, I don't know, I'm supposed to take him to a safe place. My room is safe. I can hide him under my bed, and I'll make sure he gets food, and just, oh my god. Right, shit, I gotta add to that. I mean absolutely no disrespect to autistic people or children. I have met a couple dozen autistic people in my life, and many of them are absolutely wonderful people. They are in no way lesser. And children can be absolutely great as well. When I was younger, um, you know, the the children of my family, I would play with. So yeah, I think that God damn it, that was such a great, because like we know that if you try to pry off a face hugger, it will just strangle and like tear off the face. Fuck, what was I know there was some piece of media where they said, oh, it'll tear off the face if you just keep tearing, if you pull until you pull off the face hugger. That might have been one of the AVP games, but yeah. From the movies, we know that it'll try to strangle if you, try to remove it. If let's see, they try to like cut one of the arms. Let's go with that. And it does also here try to strangle him. But yeah, like we don't, how's it gonna deal with him just trying to feed? Because he's not trying to tear off the face hugger. He just wants, the and it's like, it's again very, very coded. He did like, he's just thinking about like, I know that because it's such a like, he didn't really want Arthur hurt. He thought Arthur was gonna be okay. That's what Morrow said. You know, um, and like to some extent, maybe it's not even like naivete. Maybe it's just like, well, I have to believe it. I have to believe that Arthur's gonna be okay. That Morrow is gonna spare my family. Yeah. I think and the fact that like it basically got vomited up again. He did manage to get some of this liquid into Arthur, and yeah, it just comes back up because like the meanwhile the face hugger's like, do you mind? I'm trying to impress. I can't go with you watching. I think does that pretty well cover. Yeah, and he tries to hide he pulls the blanket down so that it's. I thought that Smee could tell because of the blanket being so far down. No, he like there's one of the arms or legs sticking out. Um, and he also has to cover for the groaning because of the arrow wound by coughing and then kicking him, which just felt kind of excessive. And I think, but yeah, he realizes and then also just he's knocking on the door really hard, and it's like you're gonna attract attention, and he's like, well, I don't even care. Very coded. He's like, I want my friend back. What's going on here? Um, and yeah, he lets him in. It's discovered immediately, and I thought they did a really great job on. Honestly, both of these two Lost Boys in this episode, maybe especially Smee, just the fact that because like he does agree to help, but only because he, slightly says Arthur will be okay. And just this thing of like, because they're friends, and if Arthur's going to be okay anyway, and he does also explain, the man from the ship is in my head, or talking to me, yeah, it's a lot of people would agree under those conditions to help, even with something as fucked up as this. Um, yeah, I think the next thing might be. Let's see. Yeah. So Joe. Oh, I guess no. Let's see. I guess the next thing was the yeah. So Kirsch and Cavalier, I quite liked. Yeah, so Kirsch goes in there and he's like, okay, so and they shock the flies and zip them back up. I don't know. It almost worked. It almost makes sense. Um, yeah, get them back in the cage in Alvarado, and they yeah, Kirsch tells Cavalier it's okay, it's safe for you, and then Cavalier comes in because that's the one thing he cares about, his own safety. At least when it comes to safety, he doesn't care about anybody else's safety. Um, and yeah, it's like, well, there was an accident. Well, oh, it wasn't an accident. Well, you just said it was. Fair enough. You know what? I can admit when yeah, what's that Onion headline? Devastating. The person you hate the most was right about something. Cavalier's right. You just said it was an accident. But yeah, watch the tape. And it's true, you know. If you don't, the I have had duct tape just disappear on me when I didn't watch it. But yeah, he watches it and is like, that thing is fucking smart. Uh, yeah, he says, let's get it away from the other. Yeah. Um, and also the thing about so we can bring back. You know what? I do not remember his name. I'm sorry, dude. I liked you, but me and memory. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna just yeah. Anyway, we can bring it back, right? I mean, theoretically, but yes, but practically, we haven't really cracked it yet. So that's 6 billion down the toilet. It's almost like you shouldn't have them near, some of the deadliest creatures that we've seen in this universe. I don't know. Food for thought. And potentially flies. And that was also very, very nicely done. The thing of, yeah, the thing with the acid, Well, you see, the brundlefly can't really chew anymore, so it has to regurgitate. Allow me to demonstrate. And let's see, yeah, I think that brings us to when let's see. Oh, right. Marcy comes in and sees, that he's dead, and yeah, she's understandably upset. And it is like, Kirsch doesn't really feel about it one way or the other. Cavalier is just like, well, that's money wasted. But to Marcy, this is literally like losing a brother. And the thing with, she tries to leave and they block her path, and it's like, oh, this is not gonna go well, this is gonna end very badly. And yeah, it's that thing of like, she is technically right, like the Cavalier is being really, really messed up about this whole situation. She's right, the others deserve to know this. They also lost a brother. So yeah, she's about to leave, and I think it's Cavalier who says, "Well, let's just hold on, slow down there, Missy. Um, we don't. It's not like we want the others to think that you're not safe. So you're saying we're not safe? Me and my big fucking mouth." And that was also coded, yeah. For Marcy, I mean, and yeah, ultimately they do let her leave, and it's like, okay, we got to get to the others, before she does. Spoiler alert: that was a failure. I don't know. They did that did feel a little like, did they even really try? I guess. Oh, I guess maybe off screen the decision was, no, we're not going to be able to stop her, but we can set traps outside so that she can't leave in time. That's got to be what. Yeah, I don't know. It's possible that that was an instance of not the best uh, writing. I don't know. It's just I barely saw any guards at the. Yeah, could they really not get any, like, there were a few that had to be dodged by Smee and Slightly, but other than that, like, it was very easy for Marcy to go and talk to. Yeah. uh I think, does that bring us to let's see. Yeah, so yeah, Smee and Slightly, carrying him through the hallway. For my peace of mind, I'm going to I mean, it's gotta be a dummy for almost all of the, like, basically, yeah, it's almost definitely a dummy, except for once he wakes up again. Once the chest face hugger falls off. Other than that, it's got to be a dummy, and hopefully they made one that looks heavy but isn't, for these two actors. Like, we watch it for minutes, but like in reality, they were carrying that thing for fucking hours. So yeah. And I also really continue to appreciate the show's use of practical effects. So one of the things is the breathing of the face hugger. when he tries to feed Arthur. Let's see. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, they managed to carry it a little bit, and I also like opening the door and then checking both ways and the whole thing. Um, is that when I think that might be when he when they encounter Kirsch, and they put down Arthur and they go to look for guards. It's like, oh, there's several guards down there, and Kirsch walks in. What are you doing? And he looks down and sees Arthur. Although, we know that he already knew. And then, they're like, well, I mean, there's no, I mean, well, the man, Morrow has been talking to me in my head. I know that. I'm saying, why are you going the long way? Just take the elevator. Jesus Christ. I thought I raised you two to be better at, like, human/alien trafficking. Isn't it nice how what Ghislaine Maxwell said is somehow completely trustworthy to the Trump administration, despite her obvious incentive to lie? Like, I just, you know, the fact that they feel comfortable trusting, human trafficker who we know has abused underage girls, groomed, like, I just, yeah, it's, they just somehow know who you can trust and who gets due process. I mean, I guess Ghislaine is lucky that she's a, you know, human trafficker who helped ensure that, a bunch of pedophilia could take place. If she had been an innocent immigrant who might not even be illegal, she'd have been deported without a trial. Now, let's see. I think that brings us back to so yeah. Joe goes to talk to Marcy, and they did such a great job because like this thing of yeah, he tells her that, and she's like, my brother is dead, the other brother, I mean, and he says we have to go, and I love that the thing she says isn't, she doesn't say we can't go. I'm happy here. No, she says, but they track us. Like her objection, reasonable, is just like, well, I mean, we can't, like, literally there's something preventing us from doing that. She's and as soon as he said no, that's taken care of, she's like, all right, then I gotta get some of my friends and we're leaving. And yeah, the thing about, well, I can't just leave without the others, but I don't know, I don't know how much time we have before we're, discovered here. You wouldn't leave without me, would you? No, of course not. Then you understand why I can't leave without them. And he's such a good brother. He's like, you're right. Let's we'll just try to hurry. And she kisses him on the forehead, coded as well as very like sibling behavior. Yeah, I think I think that might bring us to the to them on the, they've gotten to the yeah, so Smee and Slightly, that's their names. They put down Arthur, and then they look around. Okay, phew, the guards are gone. Where the fuck is Arthur? Where did we leave him? I thought you were watching. It is like, yeah, wonderful. Um, right, and the they do I really think the show handles these homages so well, because there's not so many that is like, okay, come on, which Disney has a problem with, and it's like Star Wars is probably where it's worst. Also sometimes MCU. So far not in this show. But yeah, they had to do the thing of I don't know why the facehugger feels the need to jump scare. Like when it die or yeah, when it dies, it like makes sure to climb to somewhere where it can fall out and land on and traumatize a human or humanoid. And I like them kicking at it. I will say that is something I would probably do that as well if I saw a fucking facehugger. Um, and then Arthur, stands up, and he doesn't quite remember. And he's confused, and he's like, "Why are we here? How did we get here?" Some amazing writing by Noah Hawley. What can I say? But yeah, he they yeah, coded. They try to lie, and for a while it seems like he's buying it. And yeah, they say, oh, there was a gas leak, so we were evacuated. You breathed in the gas and got knocked out, so we carried you here. And one of the side effects is confusion. That's why. And then goddamn, they know how to fucking twist the knife. That is something I will. Noah Hawley in this show and on Legion, he really knows how to just fuck with our emotions. Arthur says, "You saved my life. Thank you." We're gonna move on to another scene, cause god damn it. Um, but yes. So Marcy, after having said, "He's dead, Jim." Joe. Shit, I fucked up. God damn it. Moving on, she gets to Nibs, and we also have the other girl there, the one who's somewhat jealous, and I'm pretty sure that's her. Yeah, and yeah, she's trying to comfort Nibs, and we have and yeah, again we have this thing of like, did Marcy do the right thing? Because it was very upsetting to Nibs. Like, I'm inclined to agree with Marcy that she deserves to know, she deserves to have the truth. But I mean, there is also this concept of like, if someone is not capable of fully processing certain really negative emotion, like, it might not be, what's the word? um maybe you don't tell them the full, like I mean, we people who understand child psychology really well have worked very hard to find the best age and way to tell children about the Holocaust, for example. Because like, if you tell a child that's too young, or if you tell it to a child that's old enough but in the wrong way, because like, it's a level of cruelty that's difficult even for us adults to really wrap our minds around. um I In the future it's going to be the same about, like, I mean I guess already people are trying to work out like how old, at what age do we tell children about, you know, the Israeli state trying to, yeah, carry out a genocide in Gaza. Like, it's the the cruelty, the dehumanization. It's difficult to fully comprehend. I think an argument could be made for Nibs being in that situation here. And yeah, so Nibs agrees to go. So does Strawberry, but the other one doesn't. And again, we have this really coded thing. You have to promise that you're not gonna tell on us. Now that we're fleeing uh, potential doom at the hands of Boy Cavalier's completely out of control lack of empathy and thinking about potential consequences. Because don't tell on us. That's like something you say if you're like sneaking out to go to a party or a concert, not yeah. um and the let's see, I think that brings us to yeah. God damn it. Boy Cavalier. Can I just say, so I don't I feel really bad for the one that died because of fly acid. And the I'm not glad that these things are going wrong, because like innocent characters are suffering and dying. But it's not the worst feeling in the world to watch Boy Cavalier be really frustrated and not get his way. That yeah, because goddamn, he's such a hateable character, which means they're doing their job well. Uh, right. I did also appreciate. I think they did a good job handling the thing with the fact that Kirsch was aware of Morrow's plan with Singh and his hold on him and all that, because it's one of those things I didn't figure it out. I thought that's because I don't know. It just I was willing to accept that they just couldn't hear. They had visual but not audio surveillance of the Lost Boys. And now that the trackers are off, they can actually get lost. But the moment that Kirsch said, "I know, I've been monitored," I know about that. Yeah, I was like, okay. I mean, it doesn't make sense, why? Because it's one of those things. Boy Cavalier clearly hasn't thought all of this through, so maybe he didn't think about audio surveillance. But on the other hand, some of the scientists working for him are really thorough, so they maybe thought of audio surveillance. So yeah. God damn it. So he's got Eileen in the other room in class, and Adam is like, dude, I don't fucking know about this. Can we just... You realize that separating them means there's a higher risk that we won't be able to contain them. And Cavalier is like very cavalier about it. I guess that Boy Cavalier is very cavalier about the whole situation. And then Adam is like, you realize if Eileen gets out, she could decimate the human population. And Cavalier is like, you're right, we should infect a human with Eileen. Okay. In case anyone watching this video needs to hear the following, if you work for Boy Cavalier, no matter how utterly exhausting he is, you should probably never say something like, shoot me now, because he'll be like, you're right, summary execution, that is the solution. Jesus Christ. And he gets the pen. He writes, 3.14 apple pie, and asks Eileen. Also appreciate earlier he noted, so Eileen didn't stand to gain from doing this, and really thought about how this would, thought through, like planned this basically, for the fly move. And yeah, he asks it, what are the numbers after 3.14? Every intelligent species knows about pie. It is delicious and nutritious. It can't be beat. What are the next three numbers? And then it provides them. I haven't looked up, but I figure they probably got them right. Cavalier is clearly impressed. When it took a shit, was it saying, come on, motherfucker, you're wasting my time. Can we just get to the part where I rule this planet? I will make a fucking chair out of you, okay? Like, can you just get out of my fucking face? Jesus Christ. But yeah, and first he says that they should infect someone with a low IQ so they can see the difference. Oh boy. Yeah, Jesus Christ. He would care about, I mean, we know by now, like, a lot of this stuff about, like, IQ, like early IQ tests were literally, like, white people spent so much fucking effort trying to craft these tests that would make black people look inherently less intelligent than whites. Like, imagine if they'd spent that energy empathizing with and maybe fighting for the civil rights of black people instead. But nope, and now we have people to this day seriously pointing to these tests without actually looking at the fucking questions and considering, oh right, that actually, there's literally no way. Like, look them up. Some of these fucking questions, like, yeah, no fucking shit. A white person is going to be able to answer that better than a black. Jesus Christ. Black people are not less intelligent. There is no such thing as one ethnicity being inherently less, like, smart or capable. What there is a bunch of racists who can't handle that we are equal across ethnicities when it comes to these kinds of things. Yeah. Let's see. Obviously, I'm not going to pretend like, obviously I am aware that there are some, like, groups of people who, have are more likely to have certain health problems, but a lot of that boils down to racism. It's because they weren't a lot, they were prevented from getting the medical care and nutrition that they needed. Anyway, I think, but yeah, after he says that, then Cavalier says, no, I know who to put Eileen in. Fuck. I am deeply concerned that, I wouldn't rule out fucking Joe, for example. Or they already used his fucking lung. Uh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, I think the, yeah. So Marcy, Joe, and Nibs at the graves, and um, that thing about, um, is again brought up. Are we still who we were? And Nibs, without, like, going into too much detail, says, I don't think I am anymore. And that's the thing. It was like, of course, they've taken they took her fucking memories and they altered her personality. Yeah, she's not who she was anymore. Um, yeah, just wonderful exploration of that, and I really appreciate, like, yeah, she can understand, but she's not verbalizing these things um, as much as, just she can yeah, she can say, I am not who I am not the person that was sick and was put into this body. Um, let's see. And so they no, I think, yeah, let's do some slightly on Smee and Arthur. And yeah, the thing about, oh, we're evacuating, and and he, god damn it, twisting the fucking, you just had to twist the blade again, didn't you? Noah, I hope I hope you know how much this fucking hurts. Like, I love this show, but god damn, you really don't, you want us to like feel, god damn, I'm so glad shit like this is still being made. There's way too much media that's just like slop and just like, oh, doesn't really make you feel that intensely. Then we have shit like this that just like, because fucking Arthur is talking about how he had a fight with Dame, and he just doesn't want her last memory of him to be of them having an argument. God fucking damn it. And meanwhile, slightly saying, no, no, it's this way. You're gonna be okay. Say the goddamn words. And after a while, he is like, whatever it is you've done, it's gonna be okay, but we have to go back. We have to go back, Smee. We have to go back. Because we love you, and you can tell us what really, what you've done, and we're gonna forgive. Motherfucker. I feel like I'm being fucking chest bursted. It just, god damn. Toying with my emotions. Jesus Christ. Like, fucking, it was fucked up when fucking Kane had his, but at least he wasn't like sitting there talking about, I can't wait until I get home. I'm 2 days left away from retirement, and I'm gonna see my kids. They miss me so much, especially since, like, it's been so long since I've seen them, and I can't wait to be there for their birthday slash soccer game slash piano recital. It's a weird mixture of events, but I can't wait to be there. I promised they would. They're gonna be super traumatized if I don't. Oh, what's this pain in my chest? Like, Jesus Christ. And yeah, that's also such great, because he points out, children have to learn how to lie. You're not very good at it, and once you start lying, you just have to keep lying, and it's very true. And again, they're extremely coded. Pretty much everything they say, any synth, I'm sorry, hybrid does in this episode is very, very coded. That really goes for all the episodes so far. But god damn it, and then they, yeah, ultimately slightly does agree. Okay, we should go back. And they're holding hands, and everything's gonna be sunshine and rainbows. And then he feels some pain, and yeah, Smee points out, the only reason I helped with this was because you said he was gonna be okay. And they of course can't catch the chest burster. Like, that's not really, outside of the, I will say, in Alien vs Predator 2, they weren't that difficult to catch necessarily. But that was also like people with guns, um, trying to stop them. So I know I mentioned it before, but I really do appreciate the Alien vs Predator 2 getting to play through the actual alien life cycle. That was so fucking cool. Anyway, yeah, Slightly has no other. Did I say? I think I mixed up Smee and Slightly before. Anyway, I think you know who I'm talking about. Slightly is like, well, I mean yeah, I can't let him hurt my family, So he drags Arthur with, even though like, what, sweetie, what do you think they're gonna, again coded, what do you think they're gonna be able to get out of that? He wanted the chest burster, but and that was also like, what chance did he really have of, like, essentially if Morrow was right in front of it, he would have been able to stop he would have zapped it or something. But what the fuck is Slightly gonna be able to do? Just yeah. Uh, okay, so when, God damn it, when Marcy was, once she had Nibs, who I guess was, she did give up on, like, she's like, oh, I gotta, talk to my friends, get my brothers and sisters out of here, and one of them says no, one of them says yes, and then she just doesn't bother asking the remaining. I guess there is only those two left. Did she at least go to the? I guess it's. I don't know. I guess we don't need to see a scene where she goes to their rooms and they're empty, empty. But yeah, okay, fair enough. But yeah, she hacked the thing, and that was, yeah, they realized early, oh, she can hack technology, not cameras, but also robots. They didn't really think about what might happen if further, and yeah, she unleashes the xenomorph, and as in earlier episodes, a lot of it is CG, which is not always completely convincing. The practical effects are quite good, though. Yeah, I think that does, and I do appreciate they don't show too much, both for the CG, and also we don't want to demystify it. I'm really impressed with how well they've done at that, because like there's some shit here that could really easily demystify it. But yeah, and that was also like, it hasn't been outright said, but does she maybe think of the now adult xenomorph drone as her kid? Because like she said, I gotta take my friends with me, and then she unleashes that thing. Yeah, and that is also like, she doesn't express any grief over the people that die because of her releasing it, because she probably thinks, well, they're the one. If it wouldn't even be trapped if it wasn't for them. So of course it's gonna kill them on its way out. Uh, yeah, I think that does pretty well bring us. So but yeah, and I mean, imprinting is a thing. I think they did something with that in at least one of the Jurassic Park movies. If it was the first one, then I've forgotten. I only watched that movie once, and that was like 25 years ago, so I do not remember. But I feel like I've heard at least one of the sequels does something with imprinting, and it's again, you really got to be careful with shit like this, because that could so easily, like, the moment that a humanoid can like befriend a Xeno, that is really, really risky territory. You could easily like completely just make it not impressive anymore, which, like, we love the xenomorph in part because it is so fucking terrifying. If it's no longer scary, it's like, well, I don't know, it's not, it's lost a lot of its appeal. uh I think, does that bring on to the and yeah, I thought they did reasonably well in Resurrection, and so far they're also doing a great job here. and again, it is also like it is crucial that we have new scenarios for xenomorphs. That's also part of, you know, that's a problem with some of these. You know, I would say the third movie and the AVP movies. You know, because like, okay, AVP 2 has, you know, humans on Earth being attacked by aliens and predators. So that's it's new, but it's not really. I mean, part of the thing is that the, you know, the life cycle and birth and how birth can be a violent thing, can, you know, there are creatures that kill when they are born. You know, um, thankfully in real life they're not human sized. As I don't think there's anything human sized that does it, but there's, you know, spiders or bugs or something. You know, that's that's horrifying, you know, and to just see a bunch of teenagers be like slashed by the, it's like, okay, but that you know, the second AVP movie is a fucking slash movie, you know. um yeah, I do think that the Alien 3, you know, it's interesting that now she's you know, got it inside of her, and you have this thing of like, she wants to kill herself to kill it, you know. That's also an interesting moral question, and it does have to do with this thing of violent birth. But I don't know that it's quite enough, and the alien itself is just like, okay, it's about the same as, you know. I know it's a cliche to say that Alien 3 is too similar to Alien 1. I am one of the people who thinks that it would have been more well received if it had come before Aliens, you know. But then again, if it had come out in the form it is now, it might have just killed the franchise. So I guess I'm glad it didn't. Anyway, I think, yeah, you know, this idea of having a humanoid, you know, to be able to, you know, yeah, imprint on and be able to communicate with it. And it is the thing of like, as soon as it was born, it saw her and she talked to it and she caressed it. Yeah, like, it sees her as kin, maybe. I mean, do we know if they would a Xeno recognize his own reflection? Are they just like, maybe there's a pheromone thing to make sure they don't attack each other or something? But yeah, it's, you know, and certainly like they tend to attack humans on sight. But you know, Marcy is not quite human anymore. You know, her body is different. They don't seem to attack synths on sight. Only if it's beneficial to them, do they. Um, anyway, I think that does pretty well bring us to the yeah, you know, so yeah, she manages to, she communicates with it, and you know, you got all the guys with guns appreciate that at least one is carrying a pulse rifle, and that they don't like make too big a deal out of it. It's just there. It's part of it because it's the shared universe, you know. But the but yeah, you know, she does the clicking and the, yeah. I know this is fiction. I'm not gonna lie. If I met the actress in person and she started making clicking noises with her mouth, I would probably look around and be like, shit, is she bringing a xenomorph on me? You know, just like, goddamn. Yeah. And it kills fucking all of them. And again, she, like, it happens right before their eyes. Nibs thinks it's cool, and Marcy doesn't seem like, she's just, it's kind of a means to an end. She doesn't seem to feel that much about it one way or another necessarily. And you know, he gets a gun and is able to stun Nibs later. And yeah, you know, the Xeno is very, very close, and it does look like it would like to attack Joe, but it appreciates that, you know, it's being asked not to by Marcy. and it definitely seems like it's practical there. I'm fairly confident that is a person in a suit. Yeah, very, very nicely done on that. They've really gotten to a point where they can make the suits to where the actor can still move. That was one of the problems with the first movie. You know, we don't really see the alien move that much. You know, that movie has very few problems, but I do think it would be more effective. I wish they had just used like, so in the first Terminator movie, shit, I guess that's a spoiler. Can I don't know if I can relate it to one of the... I think the suits were also heavy when they made Aliens. And what they would do when they needed one to move fast was like only show part of it, so it wasn't the whole thing that had to move, because you can move it faster if it doesn't weigh as much. I wish they had just done that for the first movie, because we don't really need to see its full body that much, but seeing like the top half move, and we can just imagine we're seeing, you know, and then maybe cut and show the feet moving fast. And again, it's only that. It's just, yeah, moving on. Yeah, and the thing about, you know, what did you say to it? Hide and follow, I think. And let's see. I think that pretty well brings us to the yeah. So Morrow. They holy shit. I've been talking for a while. I hope this has been interesting. Anyway, yeah. So they reach Morrow, and yeah, you know, he's like, I asked you for the you know, this was, you know, Snake. Where's Scissors 69? Where what did and he doesn't even say if he's gonna hurt, and you know, if he's gonna kill Singh's family. He just yeah, Jesus Christ. And the fucking disrespect. Jesus Christ. Arthur, this wonderful man, one of the biggest hearted characters on the fucking show, and just, yeah, he's just abandoned in water. Jesus Christ. And I'm very glad, I know, that when they let, because that was definitely the actual actor, they let you know, go underwater there at the last time we see Arthur in this episode. I'm glad, I know, that as soon as they yell cut, they immediately get him out of, or let him get out of this. Possible it wasn't that deep. It's possible he could get himself out of there fine. But yeah, they don't force them to. And you know, it was a very short shot, so he didn't have to be underwater for very long, because God, that is fucking Jesus. Yeah. And I guess, yeah, let's talk about, so yeah, Morrow, you know, goes into the building and they're all caught. Um, and wait, there were two teams. Is the other team maybe still? No, I think, shit, I'm not entirely sure if both teams were in the building getting caught, or if that was just the one team. But yeah, really nicely done, because like, yeah, we've got more guns than you do. And very clever of him to point a gun at Singh, because like, yeah, that's like, the investment there is what they'd worry most about losing. And Kurt's just being like, nobody likes a sore loser. Finders keepers. Well, losers weeper. Oh shit, that's me. And yeah, you know, he says, lock them up. So that's also going to be really interesting. Morrow locked up. And I mean, he's very intelligent. He's going to find some way to, if there's any weak link in their security, he will find it. I thought they did a really good job of resolving. So I feel quite confident that Joe, Marcy, and Nibs are not going to be able to just escape on the boat. At least not at the start of the next episode. They would have to, possibly at the very end of the episode. I wouldn't rule that out. But yeah, goddamn. So they managed to get to the boat. Wonderful cinematography. Like you could just like, and they also they're looking over their shoulder, and like some of the shots like feel like, oh, this is like a fucking surveillance camera POV, you know. And they get onto the boat, and right fucking there, you know, completely surrounded. Jesus Christ. And like, you know, two of them are Joe's buddies. And you know, she says, I said he'd be there. I told you not to come here. I told you I'd say that to him if he came here. And yeah, just like, God damn it. And then we have the Xeno hiding in the bushes, and it is like, I mean, it's not impossible it might attack, or failing that, you know, if they get taken back to the building, it might follow and be able to help free them, you know. Just yeah. um I'm really glad we've gotten to a point where we can just see a Xeno like consider attacking, and it's genuinely thrilling. Like I will admit, if I had seen something exactly like this in one of the early movies, I'd been like, what is this, you know? But yeah. uh then we have the let's see, yes, we have the god damn it, we have shit, we have shit, yes, the we already knew that Nibs had a temper, uh again, uh coded, and they did try to subdue, and I feel like there's a message here about, like, I mean, you can try. I mean, I already mentioned, you know, it was somewhat similar to like a lobotomy. I said that in my video on the episode where we see the procedure, and you know, I mean, here we see. I mean, in reality, as far as I know, a lobotomy is not. Uh, they are not very likely to be physically violent after a lobotomy. But you know, you could also maybe it's more like conversion therapy or something. And we see here, no, it still shines through, you know. And this motherfucker throws her doll away like, Jesus Christ, you got a death. We got Charles Bronson here. This guy has a fucking death wish. Jesus Christ. And yeah, she's still, you know, the temper of a child coded in the body of an adult with super strength. You know, we already saw, like, last time she at least stopped short of actually attacking. She just threatened to attack. Like, she leapt and then didn't, you know, she basically, yeah, she was threatening to attack, you know, what was it, don't say that again or something, like, you know. And yeah, here, Jesus Christ. So she destroyed, I mean, disjawed this, holy shit. Also great effects on that, and just, you know, the look on her face, like, just, yeah. I mean, yeah, just, yeah, incredible acting. And yeah, the thing about, you know, she's shot several times, and it doesn't phase her at all, because she doesn't really feel physical pain anymore. And yeah, Joe does manage to zap her, and it is one of those things, like, it's a tough call, but I do think things would have gotten worse if, like, yeah, you know. And I think it's his military training kicking in there. He knows what they would do if things, you know, like, there's sadly a number of documented cases of military people feeling overwhelmed and just committing atrocious acts of violence, war crimes. Yeah. Let's see. I think that does cover. Yeah. Just God damn, I can hardly wait to see how they end this. Jesus. I think. Right, I guess I should just briefly note. Stories Untold also did a video on the show. He was not super impressed. He talks about pacing issues, and I don't really have. I'm not gonna try to pretend like. I don't have a counter argument. I don't know. I guess it just doesn't bother me as much as it bothers him. I watched this video and I continue to really, really love the show. Uh, yeah, I think that does cover everything. Yeah, just absolutely amazing. And I am really thrilled that I genuinely am not sure. Like, I know I've said this in other videos on the show, but I don't know how they're gonna end this. I at at no point in one of these episodes did I just feel like, oh, I know exactly how this is going to end. Like, there was a time or two where I felt like, okay, I have an idea of how this scene is going to end, or maybe even this episode, but not the entire show. And it was only rare, and it's more stuff like, I mean, we knew how the flashback episode, we already saw the ending of that in the first episode. I think that pretty well. Yeah, I'm gonna miss this show when it's gone, man. Jesus. Um, yeah, I when I've watched the finale of this show, I'm gonna channel my inner Bill Paxton, R.I.P., and go, show over, man. Show over.